Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, buckies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back to News and Views right here on Salam Media with me, Salalo Makwidi. And today we'll be diving into a very, very fascinating world of cryptocurrencies, a growing trend in South Africa and globally as more South Africans turn to crypto assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. The landscape of buying, selling, and trading these digital currencies continues to evolve. But navigating the space isn't always straightforward, especially when it comes to choosing the right crypto exchange and also staying compliant with South Africa's emerging crypto regulations. And joining us to unpack this is none other than Jan Vermeulen. He's the senior editor at MyBroadband and a renowned tech journalist. Jan will help us understand what makes a reliable crypto exchange, the key features to look for, and the current regulatory framework shaping cryptocurrencies in South Africa. And if you've got any questions about crypto trading or regulations, send them through on our WhatsApp line, that's 061-766-0355, or you can tweet us using the hashtag news and views. Jan, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on Salam Media. Really appreciate it, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure's all ours. I think first and foremost, cryptocurrency is not a new thing. I think, the trend started in the early 2010s, but there seems to be a lot of confusion around it. A lot of people still not understanding what's the correct way to go around it. A lot of people still getting duped, and a lot of people still getting, fraudulent people scamming them, essentially. Let's get to the basics. What are some of the most important features to look for when selecting a crypto exchange, especially for beginners here in South Africa?
Yeah, so a crypto exchange is going to be the way that you get into crypto, right? So you let's say you don't own any crypto, or you're not mining any crypto, and you want to get into it, then the easiest way to buy some is through a reputable crypto exchange. Now, the good news is in South Africa in the last few years, we've really taken big steps in making sure that crypto is properly regulated. Part of that had to do with the fact that we got put on the grey list, the FATF grey list, but also these initiatives have been in the works for some years. And so now a crypto exchange in South Africa must have what's called a CASP license, or they must have applied for that license before a certain date. The easiest way to check whether the crypto exchange you want to use is legit is to check whether they've got the necessary licenses in place. And these exchanges should have their license numbers clearly visible on their websites or in their apps. And then you can look up that license number with the Financial Services Conduct Authority, the FSCA. They've got a mechanism to verify using the crypto exchange's name or that number, whether they are legitimate or not. That's sort of step one. Step two then is to make sure that whoever you're dealing with is not essentially impersonating somebody else and trying to say, oh, we've got a crypto license, but in fact that crypto license doesn't belong to them. So there is unfortunately a lot of fraud that happens in the financial sector in general in South Africa, and the crypto industry is now just being brought into that same regulatory regime. So you need to watch out for all the same things that you would watch out for when you're dealing for a regular financial transaction. So for example, if you're going to take out a loan, or you are going to contribute to a pension fund or take out any other kind of investment, all the same steps that you would take to ensure that you're dealing with a legitimate party, you need to take when you're dealing with a crypto asset service provider nowadays. And a good place to find reliable information is on websites like ours, because you'll get as you read up more about it, you'll get a sense of who are the long-standing reliable players in the space. So like a Luno, like a Valar, like an altcoin trader, then newer up-and-coming players who are still reliable and legitimate. Not Altify comes to mind as a potential player in the space. And so, yeah, there's those are, I think, some of the very basics for you to get in when you get involved in crypto.
I think if there's one thing that has been really interesting with the emergence of cryptocurrency is a lot of it being used in what many say is terrorist financing. Do we have those kind of cases here in South Africa where cryptocurrency is used and is central to some of these cases, and is there a way that one person can protect themselves from that, where you don't have your cryptocurrencies used in unscrupulous and funding illegal activities?
Yeah, so with cryptocurrency now falling under regular financial regulations, that includes South Africa's regulations on preventing terrorism financing and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, amongst other things. And so crypto is no more used for that than cash is, right? So in other words, it is being used for that, but so are other financial instruments like cash. But yeah, we have had a recent case in South Africa, like just now, the other day, there's someone that appeared in court because he had donated 11,500 rands worth of Bitcoin to an organization. Now, we don't know the details of this case yet, so I don't want to make a value judgment on what happened here. But this is something I think that should be a warning to anybody who is solicited for donations. So if you're hearing calls for donations, and especially I know it's something that's close to the hearts of the listeners and the viewers here, into war-torn areas of the world, whether that be in Palestine or Ukraine, you need to be extremely careful about who you give that money to, because if it turns out that the receiving end of that money was using it for terrorism financing or for the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, you could be held responsible for that. And so you need to manage your risk very carefully there before donating to causes. You need to make sure that the person that you are donating that money to, that's not going to land you in trouble for trying to do a good thing. That is something to be careful of, and especially with regards to crypto, because crypto makes cross-border transactions so easy. This is something that our regulators are going to be looking at very, very carefully, because it's a very easy way to transfer money out of South Africa and into the pockets of potentially unscrupulous individuals. And this is the most serious situation where you could actually land in jail. But there's less serious, but almost just as damaging to individuals, where you get scammed, right? And people have been using the mystique around cryptocurrency to scam people for years now. And like the biggest scam of this type was Mirror Trading International in South Africa, which operated between 2019 and 2021. And so it hit at just the right time, just with COVID, just as people were sheltering in place at home and not much else to do, worried about where their next paycheck was going to come from. And so people were pumping money into all kinds of schemes, and MTI was one of them. And where people are use crypto and other technological words. So now that might be artificial intelligence, or VR might be the buzzwords people use to try and con you out of your money. And that is something to be extremely careful of. So when you're dealing with a brand new form of technology like crypto, especially when it's got to do with financial stuff, Be careful of people just perpetrating the same old scams, but with a new skin. So it sounds new and exciting, but in fact, it's just the same old pyramid scheme or chain letter scams or Ponzi schemes from like the bad old financial days. But it just has a crypto skin on it, and so maybe it sounds more legitimate. But if somebody promises you returns of 10% a month, or even over essentially over the repo rate, over the prime interest rate in South Africa, if somebody offers you something that's over 11, 12, 13% per year, never mind per month or per week or per day, then you're probably dealing with a scam. That's a multiplication scheme at the very least. And I just cannot see anybody offering returns more than that without something going into like Ponzi territory. So while we've seen, Bitcoin's price is now, jumping up, and people, doubled their money between, I think it was October last year and now, or something like that. Yes, those kinds of outsized gains are possible. But if somebody tells you that they can guarantee those kinds of returns, they're lying. Those kinds of returns cannot be guaranteed, and you have to be very careful of anybody who makes promises like that. So those are some things to be careful of in this space.
I think we're going to leave it here for now, Jan. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a great afternoon.
There you go. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, news and views continues after this.